You nuts? Partners and shareholders? You're not included.
Check out the free 10-day trial and follow Phil to investing success. Learn more at philsgang.com. philsgang.com.
I signed up, and I've learned an incredible amount from Phil and Steve. The staff at Phil's Gang gives platinum-level service and stock recommendations. You know, it's as simple as that. At the end of a month or so, I've always been in the black. Phil's Gang is a class act. I'm happy to be a member.
Find out more at philsgang.com or call 877-600-GANG. That's 877-600-4264. That's 877-600-4264. You want to invest your money and grow your wealth. How do you invest intelligently? Become a Phil's Gang member and receive the training, advice, and software that will take your investing to the next level. Phil's Gang software is easy to use, painless to navigate, and tells you exactly when to buy and sell to help maximize profits. Sign up for a 10-day free trial to see our platform in action. Learn more at philsgang.com. That's philsgang.com. Want good investing advice from someone you can trust? Listen to Phil Grandy.
With what's going on today in the economy, especially in the stock market, it gets really complicated, but it doesn't have to be. My job is to make it simple, to get through the fog. And I think I do that, and I think I do a pretty good job of that, especially why you should be buying a stock, or why you should be in the market, or not in the market, or shorting.
Invest wisely with the knowledge of Phil Grandy at philsgang.com. When the stock market is volatile, how do you invest intelligently?
Hi, I'm Phil Grandy at philsgang.com. There's no need for you to be panicking in a market that goes up 800 points one day, 700 points, then it goes down again. All you need is good advice, need good direction. You don't get that from your CNBC and the Fox business and all these crazy shows. You don't. Here's what you get from them. Thank you, Jim Cramer. But this is something this really bugs me. Listen to this.
Our responsibility begins and ends with our partners and our shareholders, and that's it.
What? Their responsibility is to their partners and shareholders and not to you? Check my site out, philsgang.com.
When the stock market is up one day and down the next, you need the experience of Phil Grandy at philsgang.com.
What a difference it makes in your financial life. philsgang.com. It works.
Want the truth when investing in the stock market? Here's how.
Hi, I'm Phil Grandy at philsgang.com. Listen to my radio show every day because that's where you're going to get the truth. You're not going to get the truth listening to these dopes on Fake Business News Network. The other day, Kramer said, don't listen to the banks. They're giving you wrong information. When he told you to buy Merrill Lynch, remember? And what happened? They went broke.
Get the truth at philsgang.com.
Join my gang, philsgang.com. Get the truth. And also listen to me on my podcast on YouTube and Rumble. That's philsgang.com.
When you listen to the advice of Phil Grandy at philsgang.com, you'll find investing in the stock market makes sense with the right guidance.
People keep saying to me, boy, things are hard. Things are tough. Boy, the market's really screwed up. I don't agree with them. For us here at Phil's Gang, we make it so it's simple. It doesn't matter if the market's bad or good. We consistently do well because we make it simple. And just like for my listeners on the radio or on the internet or my podcast, we make it simple. We try to break it down so you really understand why the market is going up or why there's continued inflation or why the bank rates are going up. So you understand, especially yields. The most important thing to understand how yields work. Just what we do. We work hard at it.
Trusted advice, easy to understand strategies that will make you a better investor. Get all the details at philsgang.com. That's philsgang.com. The stocks discussed on Phil's Gang are not in any way a recommendation or solicitation to buy, sell, or hold. If considering acting on information presented, we first recommend you seek out a competent, licensed professional for advice. Get ready for the radio show that tells you what Wall Street doesn't want you to know.
Oh, I'm a money magnet. Money's coming to me. Money sets me free. I'm a money magnet. Money's coming to me.
It's your daily dose of how to manage your money. And now it's time for Phil's Gang on the Off the Wall Street Radio Network with your host, Phil Grandy.
Here in the United States, we have a strong economy, and we have an economy where inflation is running at 5%, core PCE inflation.
That's just unbelievable. Welcome to Phil's Gang. The biggest problem we have are the banks, but nobody wants to talk about that. You know, it's interesting. The market's down now. The Dow over 200 points. NASDAQ's the same. This morning they were rallying. We're up nearly 250, 300 points on the opening. Yesterday I said, when they had their rally yesterday, I said it wouldn't last, if you recall. I pointed out how we had the S&P on August 29th rally because we were told months ago or prior to that everything's fine. We have job openings, a lot of them. Wages are going up, big demand, and our economy is growing. But on that day of August 29th, that's not what the data showed. It showed it was all a myth. But instead of the market going down, the fake Business News Network team came in and changed all that bad news to good news, saying, well, this is good news, though. Don't tell the market, because after all, if things are this bad, they're not going to raise rates. And the market went up. If you recall, I said, that's pretty stupid. Don't chase these stocks. And I told my gang members, sell into the rally. And sure enough, we were right. Because from September 1, the market down to September 7th gave it all back. That whole rally, gone. Yesterday, they did the same thing. Same thing. But before I get to that, you've got to understand what's going to take this market down. Nobody wants to talk about the banks. They're sacred. Remember last week, Powell came out and said, we just finished our stress test. And boy, the banks are in really good shape. They all passed. I had a laugh. You know why? Because that's exactly what they said 2 weeks before Bear Stearns collapsed March of 2008. Same thing. Same exact, like it's supposed to be, oh, okay, it's good. Hey, that's great. Banks are strong when they're not. Unbelievable. They passed the stress test. Then why did a reporter ask, and I was waiting for a reporter to ask Powell, well, wait a minute. If you gave them stress tests and they're so strong, then why the hell are you opening up the emergency bank term funding program? That's right. They opened up what they call the Emergency Bank Term Funding Program. Banks can go in, borrow money for a year, put up as collateral, treasuries, whatever assets they have, but in 1 year they got to pay it back. So wait a minute. Ask the question. But they didn't. Why? If we're so strong and they passed the stress test, we need a bank term funding program that, by the way, in just 2 weeks from opening it up, in 2 weeks, they loaned $400 billion in emergency money to these banks that they're claiming are so strong they passed the stress test. What are you, nuts? Unbelievable. Now, it's not hard to understand why banks are in big trouble. Banks earn a yield. They're almost like grocery stores. They don't earn a lot of yields. But boy, there's a lot of them. Banks are on every corner. Banks earn a yield of about 3%. But depositors now want 5% because interest rates keep going up and up. And that's what happened to the three banks in March. They started to fail because banks can't pay depositors 5%. And why do depositors want 5%? Because the government, Powell, is competing with the banks. Can you imagine that? He's offering depositors at banks, hey, leave the bank. Borrow us, the government, money. We'll give you over 3 months, 5%. That alone tells you something's going on that doesn't pass the smell test. Why would the government, why would Powell, who's in charge of these banks, is in charge of keeping these banks healthy, why would they tell the depositors that go and we'll give you for 3 months 5%? And so depositors are leaving the bank left and right. And that's the problem. When they're leaving the bank, they want their money. Well, guess what? Their money's out in loans and so forth. They don't have that kind of money in the bank. So they have to go to, that's the other reason why they opened up this emergency bank term funding program. Just it's unbelievable. But again, he told us the stress tests, we can sleep at night. They're very, very strong. So the emergency bank term funding program is for 1 year. And here's your problem. At the end of 1 year, they're going to be in worse shape. Why? Because of corporate debt. Now, everything I am telling you is trying to get you to understand why this market's going to drop 50%. Going to drop another 50% that nobody believes. Nobody believes. Especially yesterday when we had that fantastic rally, which they gave it all back today. And I told you during that rally, if you heard me, or my gang heard me, of course, I told them don't chase that rally, sell into it, take profits. As I said on the radio show, same thing yesterday. But corporate debt, there's the problem. That's the big problem. Because, see, we had the highest corporate debt in history, $17 trillion. Now, about 8 to 10 trillion of the 17 trillion are owed to your local banks. What are you, nuts? Yeah, think about that. 8 to 10 of that 17 trillion are owed to your local banks. Who passed the stress test, by the way. Don't worry. Don't worry about your deposit money. You're going to be just fine. I'd be running down to my bank right now yanking my money out. The big problem for the banks, the investors. Investors are going to keep selling their shares. We've been shorting the banks. You got to learn how to short. See, banks were borrowing money during QE, during zero rates, at 0.25% from the Federal Reserve. And then they loaned it to their corporations, their customers, at 1.5%, some 2%. They're making a pretty good spread, 0.25% to 1.5%, pretty good spread. But now all these loans are due. They started coming due as of January 2023. They got to roll these loans over, but there's a big problem. They were loaning, your bank was loaning money to a corporation at 1.5% to 2%. But now the Fed fund rate, the rate at which the Federal Reserve charges your bank, is now 5 to 6%. So any corporation that's been enjoying a loan of 1.5%, that is now going to go up to 5 to 6%, and we've already started defaults. All kinds of defaults are going on. But they don't want you to know that. They're masking that and say, oh, don't worry. That's why they came out and said, don't worry about the banks. They're great. They're fine. We passed the stress test. Now think about the amount of banks that are out there. There's 8 to 10 trillion of $17 trillion that they're just walking away from. Corporations are, they can't. There's no possible way they can roll those loans over. The first half of 2023, there was a 53% increase in bank defaults over 2022. And the number of corporate defaults in 2023 has already blown past the total number of defaults in 2022. But don't worry about it. We passed the stress test. Isn't that good? Pass the stress test. Keep your money in the bank. You're going to be just fine. What do you think?
Want more information on this show? Go to philsgang.com or give them a call at 877-600-GANG. Phil Grandy has successfully taught tens of thousands of investors how to navigate the market with confidence.
Hi, I'm Phil Grandy, philsgang.com. That's right, philsgang.com. Join my gang for 10 days. It's free. If anything, during that 10-day period, you're going to learn how the market really works. You're going to find information that you never had before. You're going to walk away and go, I didn't know that. So join my gang for 10 days free, philsgang.com. And you're also going to learn how to make money when the market goes down. It's kind of silly just sitting there with the market going down, hoping. Why hope when you can sell short and make money? Either way, you make money when the market goes up, you make money when the market goes down. That's the benefit of Phil's gang. you make money.
Become a Phil's Gang member and receive the training, advice, and software that will take your investing to the next level.
philsgang.com. Sign up free for 10 days.
If you want to invest your money and grow your wealth, listen to this.
Hi, I'm Phil Grandy at philsgang.com. You know, I get so tired of listening to the same garbage every day, listening to the fake business news network telling you why you should buy this stock, why you should buy, and they're always wrong. Join my gang, philsgang.com, free for 10 days. You're going to learn when to buy a stock and when not to buy a stock. Hey, years ago it was different. You could buy a stock based on fundamentals. You could buy a stock based on earnings. You could buy a stock based on PE ratios. Those days are gone. That ended with QE. That ended when they financially engineered the market in 2008. Gone. Now you got to follow the money. And we have the knowledge because we have the chart. Pro 2 color code chart tells you when to buy, when to sell, when to run like hell.
For a limited time, you can join Phil's Gang free for 10 days.
Check it out, philsgang.com. Get the truth, get the knowledge, and understand how the market really works.
If you want to invest your money and grow your wealth, just listen to Phil Grandy.
Hi, I'm Phil Grandy, philsgang.com. There's many reasons to listen to a radio show, but I think to listen to my show, you get the truth, you get clarity, and you get great information.
No matter what level of investor you are, Phil's Gang strategies for investing are designed to put you on the path to success.
You know what? Most of all, it's fun. philsgang.com. Clarity, good information, and fun.
To be a successful investor, you need to stay current with the daily changes in the economy and the stock market. Phil Grandy and philsgang.com can be your guide to becoming a better investor. Try the free 10-day trial at philsgang.com for the working investor. From the opening bell to the closing, stay informed with what's happening in real time. The Working Investor Program includes full access to the Phil's Gang website, a morning update on what to look for that day on Wall Street, a market wrap on that day's trading, plus seminars, training, and tools to help you become a better investor. Go to philsgang.com for a free 10-day trial. After that, it's just $59.95 a month for membership, daily updates, training, software, and the best investing advice every day. You can invest with the best. Phil Grandy and philsgang.com. That's philsgang.com. philsgang.com. If you want to invest your money and grow your wealth, just listen to Phil Grandy.
Hi, I'm Phil Grandy, philsgang.com. There's many reasons to listen to a radio show, but I think to listen to my show, you get the truth, you get clarity, and you get great information.
No matter what level of investor you are, Phil's Gang strategies for investing are designed to put you on the path to success.
You know what? Most of all, it's fun. philsgang.com. Clarity, good information, and fun.
When the stock market is up one day and down the next, you need experienced advice from a pro.
Hi, I'm Phil Grandy at philsgang.com. I know you're sitting there watching the stock market. You're going, what? Is this nuts? Market goes up 700 points. Next day goes up 800 points. Then the market goes back down. Then it goes back up. What that is volatility.
You want to invest your money and grow your wealth. How do you invest intelligently?
But you got to anticipate what's going to happen with the market. And that's what we give you. Information so you can anticipate in advance what the market's going to do, so you know what stocks to buy, you know what stocks to short. It's all about having good information and anticipation. You got to anticipate. The one thing you can't do is rely on your brokers. Listen.
Our responsibility begins and ends with our partners and our shareholders, and that's it.
What are you, nuts? Partners or shareholders? You're not included.
Check out the free 10-day trial and follow Phil to investing success. Learn more at philsgang.com. philsgang.com. Welcome back. Are you ready to make profits in the stock market? Why not check out philsgang.com or give us a call, 877-600-4264. Now, here's Phil.
The staff now has a noticeable slowdown in growth starting later this year in the forecast, but given the resilience of the economy recently, they are no longer forecasting a recession.
The overall, the banks and the banking system are strong and resilient and well positioned to deal with the challenges they may face now or in the future.
lie detector test determined that was a lie.
So again, why did they come out and say that, then say the stress test passed, but yet they set up the banking program for all these banks? Why did they do that? Why did they lend in 2 weeks $400 billion to save the banks? The Bank Term Funding Program. In 2 weeks, $400 billion to prop the banks up. They're not going to save them. They can't save them because we got all these corporate loans. This is not even including the commercial loans that are ready to go under. But you're not going to hear anything about this. They're going to keep telling you, buy, buy, buy. Everything's fine. Yesterday was amazing. We had a rally yesterday, just as I said earlier. Same thing happened yesterday that happened on July 29th to September 1. We had that big rally because they turned bad news into good news. All that bad news, all that news they were saying how things were so good and so strong and job openings and wages and economy's growing was a lie, a myth. So by just simply turning it around and saying all they have to say, they're not going to raise rates. Boom! The stock goes up. Yesterday, we come out with more inflation. Unbelievable. So the PPI comes out. Bad news. Because inflation rose. That's not good news. But it rose. But again, the market rallied yesterday. The market rallied. How the hell could that happen when you got inflation getting worse? And remember what inflation is. It used to scare the hell out of presidents. They were more scared over inflation than wars, than terrorists, than anything else. They'd rather have a terrorist attack than inflation. That all changed with Obama. So they came out yesterday and they said, okay, inflation rose. Don't worry about it. It's good news. Because again, just like they said on July 29th, when they had that, created that rally, they turned the bad news to good news because they said, well, this means, you know what? They're not going to raise rates anymore. And yesterday the market starts taking off again. Here we go. Bad news into good news. It looked like an ice cream sundae. And there was a cherry on top. That's right. And I'll tell you about that cherry. Now, when the PPI had the bad news yesterday, because the inflation rose, again, the fake Business News Network came out and the Wall Street swamp telling us everything was just fine because now they're not going to raise rates anymore. They can stop. I could never understand that because inflation is still going up. Look at oil. How can they say inflation, they're not going to raise rates? That's a bold-faced lie. But people believed it in the rally, and it rallied yesterday, and everybody lost their money today. That's right. And I told you on this program yesterday, just like I told you on the 29th of August when they lied and said they're not going to raise rates anymore, and the market went up 2-3%. They gave it all back. They gave it all. This one here didn't even last 3 days. Goldilocks economy. Now think about what they said yesterday. Well, if you remove the cost of food and gasoline from the PPI, it's clear then inflation's diminishing, which means we should brace what is a Goldilocks economy with diminishing inflation. Do you get what they said? This was insane. Oh, and what about that nasty number we got yesterday from retail sales? Not to worry, they said. Don't worry. The fake Business News Network and the Wall Street swamp. Don't worry. Because just think about this. Take out of the retail numbers that little thing called gasoline, which increased 58%. Well, if you take that out of the retail numbers and you take out gasoline and food out of the core number, wow. We have a Goldilocks economy with diminishing inflation. That's all they kept saying yesterday, and the market kept going up, and I kept saying to my gang, don't you dare chase this market, sell into it, because it's not sustainable. Now for the cherry yesterday on top of the sundae. Then they planned it perfectly. They said, oh, by the way, we have an IPO coming out today called Arms Holding. Arms Holding. It's a tech company, they told us. And they said, this is a great IPO because this tech company is going to supply Apple and Microsoft and NVIDIA. More good news. And the market rallied. Of course, gave it all back today. Isn't that amazing? A Goldilocks economy with diminishing inflation because you don't need food, you don't need gasoline, you don't need groceries. What a bunch of horses arses. This is what people believe. People have no idea this market's going to collapse. No idea. Of course, the richest 1% is making a fortune in the market. They made a fortune on all this inflation. See, that's the other thing that's sad. People don't understand how the market works. See, the market's pretty funny. If the thing about the stock market is the market, you want to have productivity. You need to have the banks loan to businesses, and the businesses in the startup business put that money in business investment, machinery, and so forth to increase productivity. See, the best fight against inflation is productivity, not raising rates, because you kill the working person. The richest 1% make a fortune with inflation as their vineyards go up, their farmland goes up, their diamonds go up. All the assets they hold, painting, artwork, all goes up. But the guy who he and his wife are making $60,000, $70,000 are getting screwed. But that is why you got to have productivity to stop this inflation. But they don't want it. I'll tell you why when I come back. And why you got to learn the short.
Want more information on this show? Go to philsgang.com or give them a call at 877-600-GANG. To be a successful investor, you need to stay current with the daily changes in the economy and the stock market. Phil Grandy and philsgang.com can be your guide to becoming a better investor. Try the free 10-day trial at philsgang.com for the working investor. From the opening bell to the closing, stay informed with what's happening in real time. The Working Investor program includes full access to the Phil's Gang website, a morning update on what to look for that day on Wall Street, a market wrap on that day's trading, plus seminars, training, and tools to help you become a better investor. Go to philsgang.com for a free 10-day trial. After that, it's just $59.95 a month for membership, daily updates, training, software, and the best investing advice every day. You can invest with the best. Phil Grandy and philsgang.com. That's philsgang.com. philsgang.com. The Feds have raised interest rates again, and AI is the topic of the day. No matter what the financial headlines are, be a successful investor with Phil's Gang at philsgang.com. Take advantage of the free 10-day trial for the Working Investor program. Phil Grandy has put together the tools you need to understand the stock market, with full access to the Phil's Gang website and access to Phil's Pro 2 color-coded charting software. Know with confidence when to buy, sell, and short a stock. Members also have access to Coffee Talk. Every morning at 8:30 Eastern, Phil Grandy talks about what's happening on Wall Street that day. Want to be a better investor? Then take advantage of the free 10-day trial at philsgang.com. You'll find many more features and tools for the working investor. After the trial, it's just $59.95 a month for membership. Invest with the best. Phil's Gang at philsgang.com.
What are you, nuts? 85% of the people do not know how to get out of the market. They lose money because they don't know when to get out. I'm Phil Grandy at philsgang.com. I solved that with my Pro 2 color-coded chart. It tells you when to get out. It tells you when to get in, tells you what to add, not to add. Specifically, when do I get out? It tells you that. Check it out. Go to my site, philsgang.com. Get your 10-day free trial of my Pro 2 color-coded chart and a membership.
You want to invest your money and grow your wealth. How do you invest intelligently? Become a Phil's Gang member and receive the training, advice, and software that will take your investing to the next level. Our team is comprised of successful investors, all with proven track records. Phil's Gang software is easy to use, painless to navigate, and tells you exactly when to buy and sell to help maximize profits. Learn about common market mistakes and how to minimize them. Phil's Gang has successfully taught tens of thousands of investors how to navigate the market with confidence. You don't need to be a seasoned investor to benefit from the Phil's Gang platform, no matter what level of investor you are. Phil's Gang strategies for investing are designed to put you on the path to success. Sign up for a 10-day free trial to see our platform in action, avoid market pitfalls, and start winning with Phil's Gang. Learn more at philsgang.com. That's philsgang.com. Want good investing advice from someone you can trust? Listen to Phil Grandy.
With what's going on today in the economy, especially in the stock market, it gets really complicated, but it doesn't have to be. My job is to make it simple, to get through the fog. And I think I do that, and I think I do a pretty good job of that, especially why you should be buying a stock, or why you should be in the market or not in the market, or shorting.
Invest wisely with the knowledge of Phil Grandy at philsgang.com.
At St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, we're fighting against childhood cancer every day. At the heart of this battle are our donors.
Most of us want to make some type of difference in the lives of others. St. Jude does miraculous work.
The fact that no one has to pay, it's a place where everyone is treated as an equal.
Everybody is welcome here. And it doesn't matter your religion or what part of the world you're from, all that is taken away. It just gives you some hope.
It's just a nice feeling to put your energy into something that really does genuinely make a difference in a child's life.
There's just no greater gift. If we have the ability to help, then we have a responsibility to help.
Finding cures, saving children. St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Find out how you can help at stjude.org.
Welcome back to the Phil's Gang Show. Learn, invest, and make profits with philsgang.com and give us a call, 877-600-4264. Now, here's Phil.
Overall, the banks and the banking system are strong and resilient and well positioned to deal with the challenges they may face now or in the future.
That's a lot of nuts!
When you look, really broadly at the sort of balance sheet of the consumer, it's in pretty good shape.
Wrong, 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 wrong.
Unbelievable. Lying continues. So let's talk one moment about these banks, that they're in such good shape, Powell says. The big question, again, is then if they're in good shape, then why in the hell did you have to set up the emergency banking fund? And why did you put out $400 billion? $400 billion in 2 weeks if banks were so strong. Now, here's the funny thing about banks in the market that they don't want you to know. And that's, and again, you always hear me say every day, please join our gang. Free for 10 days. Learn how to sell short. Learn how to sell short. Learn to execute. Understand what's going on with the bond market. The bond market always tells you the truth, whether to buy a stock or sell a stock. Backed up with my color-coded chart, because my color-coded chart that we designed here at Phil's Gang follows the institutional money. They're called the smart money. There's two monies in the market. The smart money, which are the institutions, and the dumb money, which we call tourist traders. These are tourists. They come in, they leave, they come like tourists. Now, the one thing the smart money knows is banks is the underpinning of our economy. If our economy, banks, the financial sector is everything, everything. You got to protect the banks. Without banks, there is no economy. Now, as the most important sector is because the banks, they can increase productivity. And productivity is what fights inflation. Banks, when you turn to the banks, and banks will the Federal Reserve will lend to your bank then lends to a business, your business takes that money and puts it in business investment and creates productivity that creates jobs, creates wage increases, creates saving increases, and people have a bigger standard of living, and they spend. And 70% of our spending is what grows our economy. Trump left the economy at 6.5% growth. This idiot, we're at 2.3%. What does that tell you? But banks, remember, are important because they always made sure there would be no QE. They turned QE into a crime. They made sure it was a crime. Before Reagan, QE was a crime. You would go to jail. Because why? Because you're masking the problems. You're cheating the guy on the street. What you're doing is saying, look at this. Look at the market going up. You are going to benefit. But wait a minute. The reason the market is going up, because they're printing money, they're buying 10-year treasuries to drop the treasury yield down, and then the Fed can drop their rate down to zero and lend money to your bank, and your bank can lend money to the folks. Well, when you do that, people are buying everything they can possibly buy because interest rates are so low, they can buy things they otherwise would have never bought. And then inflation keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And who's thriving from inflation? Nancy Pelosi. Her vineyards are going up in value. Her cattle ranches she owns going up in value. Her 3.5 million art collection is going up in value. Yes. See, that's who benefits. They don't give a hoot about you or me on Main Street because, see, our value is tied to wages. Our wealth is tied to wages. Well, inflation's wiping out your wages. But the more inflation, the more the 1 percentile, the more wealthy they get. See, it always was make sure you have money going to businesses, especially startup businesses, because startup business is the most important thing in the country, because that's where all our best jobs come from. And as long as you give the money to startup businesses, existing businesses, and they're producing, we won't have inflation. But the minute you take that money away from productivity, so, I'm not going to loan it to businesses. I'm going to take the money, and know what we're going to do with that money? We're going to go in and we're going to bring rates down to zero. Then we're going to take our money, loan it to a company at 0.5%. Then they can take that money and not putting it into machinery or equipment or productivity. My God, we don't want to put it there. Let them buy their own shares back. And the stock market will keep going up. Print more money. Stock market goes up. Print more money. But what else is going up? Inflation's going up. But they love it because that's how they make money. All their assets are inflating to the upside. Why the guy, Ma and Pa, who make $65,000 a year, struggling, trying to put their kids through school, put gasoline at the pump, they only fill up half their car, and they're struggling. But they're told every day by the fake business news network how great things are. Everything's wonderful. And Phil Grandy's an idiot when he says that the market's going to crash. He doesn't know what he's talking about because he's not on TV. What a scam. So understand, quantitative easing was against the law. Reagan made it legal temporarily. Because when he took over from Jimmy Carter, things were so bad, he needed to have an immediate stimulus, which QE is a stimulus. But they never put it back the way it was, where it's against the law. Just like the Glass-Steagall Act. They should have put that back, and we'd keep all the criminals out of our stock market. So how do you make money then? Well, you're in a new kind of era. You got to learn how to sell short, and you got to learn how to follow the money. That's what we teach here at Phil's Gang. Once you learn how to follow the money instead of the noise, and follow the bond market instead of the noise, which helps you follow the stock market, backed up with our color-coded chart, which tracks the money. So between tracking the money and tracking inflation, you're always going to be right. But because when markets go down, you're going to be making money. Markets go up, you're going to be making money. But for the poor souls that only can buy a stock, it doesn't make sense. How can you make money? Because if your stock goes up 10, 15%, and you say, I better get out because my stock's going to go down. Well, when you get out, what are you going to do? You're going to buy another stock? What? Yours was the only stock that went up 10, 15%, and all the other stocks were waiting for you to get out of that stock and then move over to the other stock that's down 20%? Oh, I see. Your stock is the only one that went up, and everybody else is waiting for you to get out of your stock so you can buy that stock at $10. So your stock went from 10 to 30, but the other stocks didn't go from 10 to 30. They stayed at 10 waiting for you. No, those stocks went up to 32. Now you're buying a stock that's overpriced. That's why 85% of you lose money in the market. We're going to fix that. We always fix that. Every day here at Phil's Gang, we fix that. Because when the market goes down, you're making money. So, yesterday, again, they lied. They came up with this new riddle. Goldilocks economy. We are now in a Goldilocks economy with diminishing inflation, and the stock market rallied yesterday. Gave it all back because it's a bunch of crap. It's a bold-faced lie. So remember, the wealthiest 1%, when they create inflation in this market, remember the money they make. Their agricultural land goes up. Their diamonds go up. Their exclusive real estate go up. I mean, they benefit big time. And it's the top 1 percentile who control the Federal Reserve, control our Congress, control everything. So, but if you know how to sell short and go long, you're going to do just as well as they're doing.
Want more information on this show? Go to philsgang.com or give them a call at 877-600-GANG.
Hi, I'm Phil Grandy at philsgang.com. You know, I've been doing this business of trading over 55 years. God, they make it so complicated. It doesn't have to be. The best way to learn is to follow me, my actual investments. That's right. When I buy a stock, you follow me. Do exactly what I do. That's the best way to learn.
Check out the free 10-day trial. Learn more at philsgang.com.
Be my co-pilot at philsgang.com. Do what I do.
That's philsgang.com.
Hi, I'm Phil Grandy at philsgang.com. You know, I've been doing this business of trading over 55 years. God, they make it so complicated. It doesn't have to be. The best way to learn is to follow me, my actual investments. That's right. When I buy a stock, you follow me. Do exactly what I do. That's the best way to learn.
Check out the free 10-day trial. Learn more at philsgang.com.
Be my co-pilot at philsgang.com. Do what I do.
That's philsgang.com.
Remember, when this market crashed in 2009, it should have never crashed because the chairperson of these two committees, their job was to protect consumers, protect our investments, and they're supposed to ensure that our investments are being monitored. Where were they in 2009 and 2008? They weren't anywhere because they don't do that. They take care of themselves. They protect themselves. They become richer. So you can't depend on these crooks in Congress. The stock market is a great place to be, but you just got to know this is a different market than your grandfather's market. So why don't you, for 30 days, join my gang, 877-600-GANG, try it for 30 days, $39.95. Follow me. I tell you when to buy, when to sell, when to add, and when to run like hell. All I ask you start making money, please remember St. Jude.
Don't wait. Join Phil's Gang today and make profits. Go to philsgang.com or call 877-600-GANG. That's 877-600-4264. That's 877-600-4264. Are you a stock market investor without all the information?
What are you, nuts? Market's going up, market's going down. We're getting all this bad information.
How do you invest intelligently? Phil Grandy can show you.
If you want real information and you really want to know what the market's going to do and you want the truth, go to my site, philsgang.com, and also listen to me on my radio show every weekday at 3 o'clock Eastern.
Phil's got the answers at philsgang.com.
That's philsgang.com, where you get the truth and you get the information you need about the market.
At St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, we're fighting against childhood cancer every day. At the heart of this battle are our donors.
Most of us want to make some type of difference in the lives of others. St. Jude does miraculous work.
The fact that no one has to pay, it's a place where everyone is treated as an equal.
Everybody is welcome here, and it doesn't matter your religion or what part of the world you're from, all that is taken away. It just gives you some hope.
It's just a nice feeling to put your energy into something that really does genuinely make a difference in a child's life.
There's just no greater gift. If we have the ability to help, then we have a responsibility to help.
Finding cures, saving children. St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Find out how you can help at stjude.org.
Why are investors listening to Phil Grandy of philsgang.com?
You know why people listen to my show? Because I make it simple. When you talk about the stock market, they make it so complicated. I make it easy to understand. For the average investor, the Main Street investor, most of the time, these guys, it's like they're talking to each other. We talk directly to you and we listen to you.
Invest better with the sound advice of Phil Grandy at philsgang.com. Welcome back. Are you a fan of the Phil's Gang radio show? Then you should check out philsgang.com or give them a call at 877-600-4264. Now, here's Phil.
When it comes to reducing deficit, let's compare the records a little bit. Under my predecessor, he created more debt than any other president did in 1 year. No, I'm serious. For starters, when he passed that $2 trillion tax cut skewed to the wealthy and big corporations, they didn't pay for a penny of it. The end result was that it has ballooned the national debt by nearly 40%.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
Lie, lie, lie. That's all it is, lie, lie, lie. Listen, join my gang. And again, you can listen to me on Instagram, Facebook, Rumble, Apple, YouTube. And every day, you go to Instagram, go to YouTube. There's what they call these short segments. They're a minute long, and they're very, very popular. One I put in on, when did I put that one in? Friday? Or 3 days ago, I think. It's already up to 140,000 hits. Last Friday, a week ago, 140,000 hits. They're popular. So I put those in every day. Autumn, who's in charge, does a fantastic job, just an unbelievable job putting these things together and putting them up, and they get big hits because of what she does. And she does it so well. You should check them out, okay? There's some great information in them, and they're free. And then every Monday, I'll post on YouTube, the long one, the regular YouTube channel. Once a week, I'll do one, which I will review all of the previous week, and then I give you an idea. This is on Monday. And then I give you an idea what you can expect going forward. Talking about what to expect, you can expect one thing from Joe Biden: lies, okay? Here's an example. This was interesting the other day. A reporter asked this.
The president has lied about being at Ground Zero the day after the September 11th attacks, falsely claimed he saw the Pittsburgh Bridge collapse, claimed his grandfather died in the hospital days before his birth. What is going on with the president? Is he just believing things that didn't happen did happen, or is he just randomly making stuff up?
The president was deeply touched and honored to be able to spend 9/11 with military members there in Alaska. And he spoke about a visit to Ground Zero, which he did participate in, about a week or so after the event.
But he's had a string of saying things that happened, things that are easily debunked. Why does he keep doing that?
The president was grateful to spend that time with those family members and those troops.
Look how he changed the subject, because, by the way, that was a lie. He said, well, he went to Ground Zero after about a week after 9/11 happened. No, that wasn't what he said. He said he was there the day of. But anyways, so the terrible thing about Biden, he's dangerous in the sense that he keeps lying to us about. Let's talk about what his claims are. He claimed that Trump's tax cuts were not paid for. Can you imagine? And nearly $8 trillion in his 4 years, okay, of that national debt. That was the biggest ever. He increased the. Biden claims that Trump increased the national debt by $8 trillion. That was like in 4 years, that was the biggest increase ever. No, it wasn't. First, let's tell the truth. Trump increased debt by 33%. Obama and Biden increased debt by 65%. George W. Bush, baby Bush, that dope, increased debt by 73%. But what's he do? He lies and he says Trump has increased debt more than anybody else. Now let's talk about that $2 trillion tax cut. That increased, okay, our tax revenue. That's right, it increased our tax revenue. And guess who was the beneficiary of that tax revenue? Biden, because it helped with his deficit he created. He got help. If it wasn't for the tax cut, bringing in the extra revenue, then Biden's deficits would have been much worse. Are you kidding? Biden's 3 largest spending bills, the American Rescue Plan, the COVID plan, the 3 Inflation Reduction Act, Omnibus Bill, and the American COVID Rescue Plan. Those 3 were the worst spending bills ever. Spending bills. Because of those 3 spending bills alone, prices have gone up 19% since he's taken office. Wages, that he keeps saying wages are higher than inflation. No, it's not. Are you kidding? If you take the last 22 months, 20 of those 22 months, wages are way behind inflation. History always shows when you cut tax rates, it creates investment incentive. Always does. When you say to an investment, say to a startup business or an existing business, I'm going to cut your taxes and I'm going to cut regulations. Tax receipts increase because he invests. But what do these guys do? They say to the banks, look, drop these interest rates down and loan it to companies, not for business investment. Loan the companies so they do stock buybacks so we can create inflation. The richest 1% can get richer. And here's the cruel part of QE. Someone goes out and interest rates are so low, they buy that car they would never had before. In other words, they trade up to a car they would have never bought if interest rates were normal. They buy a house, a larger house that they would never have bought if interest rates were normal. So what's cruel is, it's a cruel joke. While the rich get richer, the poor don't realize they're getting poorer because it's masked, because they're excited that rates are so low they now can buy that car. They can buy that RV. You see, that they couldn't ordinarily buy. But at the end, they have huge debt. That's all they did. It just, the pain was put off maybe 5 years, 10 years. But now that pain is here. The market's going to go down. I don't want you investing in pain. I want you investing in markets that are going down. I want you investing in stocks that are going down. I want you to be at a point, it doesn't matter to you if a market is going up or a market's going down or an individual stock's going down or up. It doesn't matter. You're consistently making money. We want you to understand how the bond market works. And here's another important one. You look at IWM, the symbol IWM, the small mid-cap, that's the Russell. The Russell, IWM. I'm going to put it up right here for you on the chart. IWM. You look at the Russell right here. Okay, IWM. That's the Russell 2000. This always tells you the truth, the direction of the stock market. Never mind looking at the S&P. Never mind looking at the Qs. Never mind looking at the spiders. Okay, it's IWM that's always correct. And look, it's got a head and shoulder patterns telling you it's going to go lower. And for all these people who are buying these stocks yesterday, just like the people who lost all their money that bought stocks on July 29th, it's terrible. But more terrible is all these people who have been enjoying all these low rates, they've been accumulating debt. For the last 10 to 12 years, they've been accumulating debt they now can't handle, and they're going to be forfeiting that new car, forfeiting that boat, forfeiting that house, because the debt is strangling them. Look, every day when you're a gang member, we stay with the same 6 stocks. Why? Because we can sell them short and go. We don't need any more than 6 stocks. Those are our main stocks, and we're always right with these stocks. Always right. When we tell you to buy, it goes up. Tell you to go down, and because it's backed by our color-coded chart. Then, when you have built your account, that 25% of your account is profits, then you advance to where you get into the bonus stocks. In the bonus stocks, we have about 15 bonus stocks. But you don't get into the bonus stocks until you got to graduate first from the 6 stocks. By the time you get to the bonus stocks, you know what you're doing. And then you don't care what Biden does. You don't care what any president does or what Wall Street does, because it doesn't matter. Because if the market goes down, you're prepared, you're going to make money. The worst thing in the world is only buying stocks. You can't make money you'll get lucky once in a while, but consistently, no. You just can't. It doesn't work that way. And again, every day we stay with you. We give you the alerts. Every day, when we stay with those 6 stocks, we're guiding you on those 6 stocks. When to buy, when not to buy, when to add. And then, again, please remember, go to my Instagram and also my YouTube channel for those shorts. And then every Monday, we'll have my long YouTube explanation of what happened the week before and what I expect is going to happen the week going forward. All free. Go to my site, philsgang.com. Sign up free for 10 days.
You have been listening to Phil's Gang with your host, Phil Grandy, on the Off the Wall Street Radio Network. Off the Wall Street Radio Network. Remember to visit Phil's website at philsgang.com. That's philsgang.com. Or call the office, 877-600-4264. That's 877-600-4264.